BIZPAC, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate that very much. You're going to see a limited menu here in front of you. If you have some special dietary needs, you're welcome to ask the waiter for something else. But otherwise, this is how you get your food fast, right? So take a look at it, have it picked out when they come by so that you can get your food ordered and they can start serving right around noon. We've got about 22 or 23 items to cover today. Right, I just kind of took off with it, Darby. Everybody know Darby?
Go ahead, knock yourself out. Hello, everybody. Welcome aboard.
Did you want to give any
It's a
greetings?
3-hour tour, isn't it?
Yeah, you gotta tell us.
Okay, so what I think would be handy is if we kind of start out with quick introductions, and we're going to make it go fast. We're only going to spend a minute on it. And the way that we'll do it is you do it like this. Hi, I'm Joseph Trahan. I'm the founder of BIZPAC.
Hello everybody, I'm Gardner Eastland. I'm running for the 311th Family District Court. I'm a lifelong Republican. I was breaking up happy homes. Oh gosh, I've been doing that about 19 years now, and I decided...
Well, you get to talk later now. It was only
Okay.
2 sentences.
Yeah.
The name and what you do.
All right, fair enough.
Darby Douglas, financial advisor for Edward Jones and BIZPAC member.
Justin Getzinger, Next Chapter Movers, and I'll let my wife introduce the business after.
Yep, it's a moving company, Chandler Hansen. Yeah, Next Chapter Movers.
Hi. Hi, I'm Lindsay Hughes. I have my own company called The Pitchmaster, and I teach people how to speak effectively about who they are and what they do so they can grow their careers and make more money.
My name is Mark Gollaby. My pronouns are how now, brown cow. And my company's TC Technologies, and we do the Internet of Things for oil and gas companies.
Hi, I'm Leah Lund. I'm a massage therapist, and I'm Leah Lund Health Management. I have a Rife Energy Machine Healing. I heal people with energy. Yeah, so that's what I do.
I'm Daniel Goldberg. I'm happily retired.
You're not retired. I see you work all the time.
I'm Bryce Redson. I'm Gardner Eastland's campaign manager.
And I'm Kiki Diggy, unemployed, looking for a sugar mama.
Hi, I'm Harrison Stroh, founder of American Munitions, Ammunition, and Gulf Tech Firearms.
I'm Avery Trahan. I work for Ammunition and American Munitions.
Hi, I'm Brantley Steele. I'm the founder and owner of Softwash Solutions. We're Houston's premier exterior cleaning and sanitizing company.
Okay. David Rush with Momentum Insurance.
Meredith Gregory. I'm a geologist and one of the newest members of BIZPAC.
Yeah.
Yay.
Kelly King. I own Kelly and King Photography. We do communications, event planning, and photography.
All right, Bradley Spradlin, Metamorphic Capital Partner, Investment Advisory Firm.
Andy Trevetti, I'm in real estate and private equity.
Doug Brown, Mavdev Lamb Partners, Building and Development.
Mario Garza, I sit on the Harris County Bail Bond Board, so I'm a licensed bondsman here in Harris County.
I'm also a bondsman. I own Bada Bing Bail Bonds. I want Tiki's job. Find us in dark alleys everywhere.
It's real work, man.
Hi, I'm Olga Chapman. I sell medical grade CBD and regenerative products.
Bruce Bedeau, deal maker, and my latest deal is Zap Them Rats. It's a game about Trump returning to the White House.
Hi, I'm Robert Kosik. I'm a turnaround of companies specialist, but also the CFO of a industrial services company here in town.
I'm Jack Cagle, and I'm your guest.
As we're going around the room, I was thinking, I either know your business, have done business with you, or referred business to you. Every single person in this room almost. It's really unique. So why did I choose this picture to kick off with today? Does everybody know what this picture is?
That's a Crimea.
That is in 1984.
Photoshopped.
No, it's actually a real photo.
No, it's a real photo. I saw the Photoshop version.
Oh yeah. In 1984, using a pressurized suit and jetpack An astronaut floated all over
Ginger.
space away, untethered from the space shuttle. There was no space station at the time. And got so far away from the space station with this suit that he was wearing that people were terrified. Mission Control was terrified. He went 10 times further away. You know why? There was no resistance in outer space. There was anti-gravity, right? And so just one little psst, and you just keep moving. A little burst of gas, you just keep moving. And so they found out how powerful that was. But this is how you feel as a business owner, entrepreneur, or head of a company all the time. Right? You're alone, man. You're alone. You're vulnerable. You're the one that takes all the harsh treatment, right? And so I saw that picture and I thought, you know what? I got to put that out there. At BIZPAC, it's a little different. Yeah, we're all right here in our business. There's no question about it. We are all that guy for our company, the companies we run, the companies that we own, sole practitioners. The reason we formed BIZPAC is so that we could come together to fix our government, to fix our municipal, state, and federal government, to set policy so that they can hear us with a voice. We're typically such lone wolves out there. We don't do a good job of coming together with our common interests. But at BIZPAC we have, and we've got a heck of a record at the Texas Capitol. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I just thought I'd point that, or make that distinction as we go forward here. Who's short on time? Are you short on time? You have 10 minutes? How about, you got 10 minutes? Fantastic, okay. I'll move on through this very quickly. You heard Mark introduce himself. He's our education chair. Why is that important to BIZPAC? Why do we need an education chair? Well, next crop of the next crop of employees. It might be one reason. Boy, that was a Freudian slip if I ever heard one. But that's very important to it. So Mark has been working together. Mark's been working together with us here at BIZPAC for some time, and he got us interested on the Chapter 313 abuse of taxpayer problem for 22 years. And once he got us up to speed on it, we went in force to the Senate with Mark. We got the Senate to kill the funding to a very corrupt program. But Mark, if you don't mind, just take a second. I know you brought some things you can hand out as you talk, but let's spend 3 minutes talking about this.
So now we got Chapter 313, found that corruption, okay? Well, as I keep digging into this stuff, now y'all have heard of Robin Hood, recapture, okay? Well, then I started looking into some issues with that. I got hold of the retired CFO of Spring Branch ISD. We start talking about the recapture. And then she goes through and says, oh yeah, well, they know how much they take in, and then they throw it in the general fund. They throw the recapture into the general fund. So we don't know how much of it ends up going out to actually balance and create equity across our education across the state of Texas, okay? It just goes into the general fund. So you go through there and you take a school district like Spring Branch ISD, they're paying like $80 million a year. It goes into the bucket and then it just gets dispersed into the general fund. What should be happening and how the state should be accounting for that is you put the $80 million into a bucket, then as you disperse to Pampa ISD or Harlingen ISD or whatever ISD needs it, then the bucket comes down and we know what we have left, right? They're collecting $3 billion a year. I just did some math real quick for the school districts that aren't in recapture. That's $2 million more. They spread it across all of them, realizing Cy, Faircline, and Katy do not get any of this money. All right. So we know there's $2 million per school district that don't participate. This is a complete ripoff. It is disgusting for the taxpayers in Spring Branch. And does HISD pay? Somebody told me they just don't cut the check. Is that true?
They wait till the very last minute.
Okay, fair enough. Good cash flow. Anyways, so as you go through this, so they're paying basically the residents of Houston and Spring Branch, okay, are paying into a state property tax because it's just going into the general fund. which is either A, illegal, all right, or definitely outside the state constitution. We do not have a statewide property tax. No such thing, it doesn't exist. However, the way they do the accounting for the recapture, in essence, creates a state-based property tax. And like I say, you got 80 million, I don't know what, do you have any idea what HISDs is?
Where our recapture is right now.
Yeah, I mean.
I don't know right now, off the top of my head.
Right, well, Spring Branches is 80 million.
Yes.
So,
If y'all don't know, this is Bridget Wade, Houston Independent School District Board of Director member. We're gonna talk a little more about her and hear from her in just a few minutes.
so what we're hoping to
One more
do.
minute more.
Okay, so what we're hoping to do is A, make people aware that this is going on. I have some handouts here. You can go to our website. You can see a reference in there, a Dallas Morning News article that goes through it. I also reference a whole website that's dedicated to the recapture, you bet. So the idea is that we get these school districts that are paying into recapture to tell the state, we want a full accounting. We don't want this general fund stuff. Goes in, you tell us how much goes into recapture, you tell us how much gets paid out of recapture, and if there's too much, then that means the property owners can come back and get some relief in Spring Branch, HISD, and other places, okay, number one. If it's a deficit, we can find out why, right, we're overspending, why we're not collecting enough. And then my question would be, all right, with $1 trillion of undervalued assets in Chapter 313, is that deficit because, right, these other school districts, we won't say Barbers Hill, okay, and 35% of all the abatements in the state of Texas come out of Barbers Hill. I didn't say that, but at any rate, if you go through there and look at that and say, that is, that money needs to be, they need to capture that money too. So are they shorting the system, creating that deficit because of 313? Or do we have actual surpluses in that bucket that need to be dispersed back to the taxpayers that live in HISD, Spring Branch, and the other districts across the state? So
Mark is the guy. If you have additional questions about that, we're gonna get into some other issues here and kind of get an update from Bridget since she got over to the HISD school board. In fact, if you're good to go, we'll talk about that right now.
Well, it's funny, this morning I was just looking at a book that Mark wrote about education this morning. So it's funny that we're piggybacking off of one another. Hi, I'm Bridget Wade. I'm your District 7 trustee for HISD. District 7, essentially, just so you know, is kind of Montrose, Timber Grove area, TC Jester, to Voss Road, and then kind of north of 59, just Galleria area, if that gives you kind of an indication. So I am 8 months into my role as trustee. We are in the middle of policy. Tomorrow is a big policy review. Should be something simple and easy, although it's all got all kinds of political things working behind the scenes going on there. So just pray on that tomorrow, that all goes, you know, we'll see. So HISD, we are,
Can I
yes.
tell them a little bit of background about you real quick?
Sure, whatever you need.
All right, so I had the pleasure of meeting Bridget over at Lynn Lasher's at a political meeting. And that's right down the street. And then I go through the BIZPAC membership rolls, and she's running for, school board, right? And I kind of start getting the information about, I heard her speak and I was like, that's the firecracker I want on the school board right there, And so I look at the BIZPAC rolls, I find out we've got about 1,050 BIZPAC current past members in our database that are in her district. So we just started getting our membership up to speed on who she was, what she was all about, that we were supporting her. And I want you to look at the margin that Bridget Wade won by, 950 votes. So when I say that BIZPAC got, this firecracker elected, I think I've got a little ground to stand on. I think that you guys did it. And so I applaud you because you got a champion in there fighting for sunlight on everything going on in that district. Yeah. So that's kind of the bragging rights there. I'll hand it right back to Bridget.
Well, thank you. That's very nice. And thank you all for your encouragement and support, especially. So I will start with one. You're hearing about the teacher shortage. Journal had an article about it again today. It's kind of the hot topic that's going on right now with education. I will say that yes, it's a problem. Yes, there's multiple reasons for the problem. How are we solving it? Good question. It's a complicated scenario. We've given the teachers, 11% pay increase just recently for this school year. We have supported, the bus drivers, the wonderful custodians who clean, and all those people who serve your children lunch. And so we're trying to meet the standard which we need to be. So I was all in favor of that. I'm all in favor of supporting teachers. I'm not in favor of what the teachers union has done to discredit teachers. And they don't want to realize that they're actually the problem. And so they created an environment that became, their political activism has created an environment where teachers are disillusioned with their job. And so they don't want to take up that. Their new motto, you'll see it everywhere, is that we don't respect them. And they will use that word over and over again. And so we have to push against that narrative, because we do love and respect our teachers. We, though, do not love and respect the union, who's doing a lot of damage to the teaching profession. So we'll start with that. We'll go into budget cuts. We are in a fiscal cliff with HISD, just to be real transparent with you. We have used ESSER funds to the every bit that's possible. The money's available. You got to get the most out of it since it's there. Do I love it? Not so much. But we need to be strategic about the money when it's available. And Mark makes a great point. We give a lot of our money away. And we are the largest in footprint. We are the 7th largest in the nation school district. We're the largest in Texas. We also have the most diverse population, as y'all know, and we deal with this kind of, our school system, I would say, is very centralized, and we are in a non-zone city. I mean, nothing makes sense, and then we give a lot of our money away, and we deal with issues that other, even big districts in the nations cannot. It's not apples to apples. So I thank you for that information. I would love to hear it, see it too. So we have, we're losing students at the same time due to competition and due to a lot of factors. So we've got budget problems, and we are having to attack those problems. So please know that
Number of students is how most school districts are reimbursed by per capita. Number of students, how they get reimbursed by TEA, your tax dollars. And so number of students matters.
And attendance.
What about federal?
It's very small.
Does that explain why the per capita for students in different districts is so lopsided?
It's very lopsided.
Because the money's not equally spent across the board. And what's a public school system?
It's not evenly spread out across, yes. And so we give a lot. Dallas is the reason why recapture even started, Highland Park to be exact. That's what started the whole thing, which then has cascaded into the problems of today. So, and then it actually pits the disparities further, because then you start to get the haves and have-nots, and so those with smart systems will find ways around it, always. So, yeah, so I thank you, Mark, for that.
Yeah,
And
the integrity of recapture, the purpose of recapture, all right, is good, all right? problem is that the state is taking recapture and using it and created a slush fund.
They throw
To
it
just
in
balance
the
it, throw it,
it
it could be
disappears
going
into
into
accountability.
some other project, not anything to do with education, even though it came from education dollars from a school district to pay into that, okay? Well, if they collect 3 billion and it takes 2 billion to balance all across the state, okay? Then where's that other billion go? Oh, it's in the general fund. So that's why they are they're actually violating the purpose of recapture, which was to create an equal amount of money per student across
Okay,
the
so
state.
we're laying this out, and we're gonna move on to the next subject, but we're laying this out. This is an agenda item that we've got going into the legislative session with the Texas House and Senate to give granular vision into where are these dollars, let's track, let's report back. This has always been a problem in Texas, all right? Anybody ever heard of the Texas Lotto? Right? That was supposed to be all education, wasn't it?
It's a slush fund.
All of it. Okay. So we're grateful that Bridget's up there. Now that you're on the inside, I'll ask you this one question, and we're gonna go to the
Wrap it up.
next item. But now that you're on the inside, when Bridget was running, she had a really strong message that appealed to all of us that got behind her. And it was HISD is too big, it's unwieldy, the corruption is a morass. We have to break it into manageable parts. We need to take a look at breaking HISD into smaller districts to be able to manage it. And I want to ask you, now that you're on the inside and you've been up there a while, do you feel like that's doable?
Whether it's I think it's doable. I think there's an appetite for it because we know that school districts, it's a fact that 60,000, so we're 200,000 students in HISD. We know that school districts that are around 60,000 students are successful, and everything above that loses success as they get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So that right there alone should tell you that we should be 4 districts in Houston. We would have accountability, we would have promotion from kids. Not only that, you would be taking 200,000 students who are not doing great, and you would open up opportunities for 50, 75, even 100,000 students to actually be successful if they're competing against those other districts. Is what happens now when you've got A-Leaf, you've got these other districts out there, and they're competing against HISD for kids, and they're winning the battle. So it's a telltale sign. If we want to compete, we need to shrink.
What is you quoted optimal size for a school district? What was that number?
60,000 or less is I mean, that's a fundable size, a reasonable size to meet the direct needs of the kids in your communities and hear your communities at the same time.
What about cutting down on the number of administrators? What's the
Wouldn't that
ratio?
be lovely?
But isn't that it's a blown up number? I mean, they shouldn't have this many people that are administering. I don't know. I heard it was only like 50-50.
There's a lot of administration that needs to happen to run a big school district. So I don't discredit that. They do a lot of support. There's a lot of things that happen. But to the degree that it is now, is overblown. It's like any government, institution. Eventually it just gets bloated. We are working very hard, and the district is working very hard to cut the administration first. So more to come on that.
All right, thank you,
Thank you.
Bridget Wade. Thank you very much. If everybody doesn't know Kelly King back there, Kelly, are you passing around that list?
Yes.
Okay. If you haven't signed in, she's gonna pass around a list. Forgive me, I got a Mac update, our little sign-in list didn't get printed out because I don't have a printer. All right, we're gonna move over to Cactus Jack Cagle. I think everybody knows Cactus Jack, right?
Are we breaking? Are we breaking?
We're gonna move on to a new segment.